sit-down lesson on the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Before we begin, we'd like to first start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kabadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, and Shalom to those who live. Alright, and we pray this lesson is edifying, and as you can see, today's sit down will be titled, "His Suffering Shall Stop Soon." Right? And of course, this lesson is inspired by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Once again, we just want to touch on, what you say you want to touch on, Muhammad?
So the fact how, like, that right now, we're under the seals, we're under these curses, put upon us, for our iniquities, for our transgressions against Yahweh Shah. But understanding that, at a time when right now the roles are reversing, right? The roles are reversing, so the things that we're facing, things we're going through right now, at the time of saying, this suffering will end, because the kingdom coming. But Esau, Edom, and these other nations, they will soon start, especially Esau, Edom, they're going to go through that suffering. They're going to be going through that. And our suffering will end. We're going to be in the kingdom. Yahweh told, let's say, what it was, he told you to receive, I think it was Peter. He told him to receive 100-fold, or it might have been, so we give everything to follow you. They'll follow me, as Peter. He told him we receive 100-fold, right? Because, that's going to be that. That's going to be us, receiving. Basically, we're gonna get back to what we used to be. The glory of the latter house shall not be compared to. The glory of the former house shall not be compared to the latter house. We're gonna be glorious. We're gonna be kings, princes. We're gonna be back to our royalty standpoint. True righteous rulers. We're gonna be righteous judges. We're gonna be a righteous kingdom. There ain't gonna be no more suffering, no more pain, no more hardship. Israel as we facing today. If you see it now, when we're under those restrictions. I was watching the breakdown, and I was talking to the brothers that I was talking, watching the breakdown of Revelation 20, when Esau, they was under those restrictions. When Jake was in rule at the time, starting with Nerva, came into rulership and whatnot, and Esau was under those restrictions. They was under those chains, they was under those seals, right? And they could barely do anything. That's how we are now. Now we're under those seals. Now we can barely move, we can barely do anything. We have these little things, and you see, when Esau take these little things away from us, like these government benefits and whatnot, Jake loses his mind. Jake lost. It's hardship, it's pain. But Jake don't understand enduring that suffering, like as well too. Part of that, we have to endure this suffering as well. But at the same time, all this will come to an end once we get into the kingdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay, yeah, you can read.
It's like this. This is the book of Mark, chapter 10, and I start verse 28. It says, "Then Peter began to say unto him, Lo, we have left all, and have followed thee. And Yahushua answered and said, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that hath left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my sake and the gospel's, but he shall receive 100-fold now in this time, houses, and brethren, and sisters, and mothers, and children, and lands, with persecutions, and in the world to come eternal life."
So, and you see that in the world to come. Once we're arguing on the world to come, that's the kingdom of Yahweh Shah. And seeing that, that's when we think about, understanding the eating the whole roll. Suffering is part of this ministry. You have to suffer. You have to endure that suffering, because that's what's going to lead us. Romans 8:17 talks about, we heirs of Yahweh, joint heirs with Yahweh Shah. We also got to suffer with him. So these things that we're going through, these things we're facing, is what's preparing us. Also in Hebrews, it tells us that we made perfect through our suffering. So these things that we're facing, we're going through, is what's going to prepare us, and get us ready for the kingdom to come. Right?
The next verse, it just goes into it. It says, "But many that are first shall be last, and the last first." That's just basically just going into the title, man. The first that are right now just have to be Esau, Edom. They have their kingdom, they have their riches, they have their, they control their control. You know what I'm saying? They're at the top right now. But like it says, the first shall be last and the last first. We're the last right now. We're the footstool. We're the laughing stock of the world right now. Right? We're at that lowest state. what I'm saying? And it's really, it could be as simple as if you break it down to, we are the only people without an army. You know what I'm saying? Esau, Edom got an army. Your Arabians, they got their armies. You got all these other people, they got their armies. But but Israel, specifically, Judah, the people over here in America. You know what I'm saying? We don't own anything. We don't have our own kingdom as of yet. But it is soon to come.
I have a precepts, but can you read that last verse? But before you read that, can somebody grab 1 Thessalonians 3 and 4, Hebrews 12, 6, 7, and Matthew 7, 13 through 14. Then I got the other two precepts.
Said 3 or 4.
Chapter 3, verse 4. God, yeah, the spirit.
Hebrews 12 and 6.
God, you read down to 7, and then somebody grab Matthew 7, 13, 14. But first, what was that you just read?
I grabbed that.
Yeah,
Matthew
grab
7.
that.
Wait, tell me what he had.
We said it the first, I mean last first.
Okay, that's Mark 10 and 31. You want me to read?
Yeah,
So this is Mark 10 and 31. It says, many that are first shall be last, and the last first.
God, man, and it's spiritual as well, because who came out first out of the womb? Esau. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 23. And it reads in the Lord. It's fire. God, this Genesis 25, 23 saying the Lord Yahweh said unto her that our foremother Rebecca, said, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And we know it is Esau and Jacob that are furthermore proved. So it says, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger, right? Let's get down who the elder is and who the youngest brother is. So this verse 24 saying, when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. But these twins are two, these twins are 2 nations, right? There are two manner of people that shall be separated from their bowels, right? Verse 25 saying the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And y'all may wonder, why did they tell the skin color of Esau and not of Jacob? Right, because Esau the one that came out strange, right? Because Rebecca, Isaac, all them, there was people of color, right, looking like us, right? But Esau came out all red like a hairy garment. He came out strange, right? He came out weird, right? Because why Esau Edom, so-called white man today, right?
Quick point there too. That Edom means red, and then Esau means wasted away, because when you go back to the garden, that serpent, was that melanin man, but his pigment was stripped from him. That's when you get these so-called white people, the pigment was stripped. That's why it says he came out red, because you can see his blood so forth through his skin. His melanin was taken away. I strengthen is in our melanin, right? That's why Esau, they go outside, they get burnt by the sun, all type of thing, right? And also, when you go with, I think it's in Numbers chapter 12, the count with Moses' sister Miriam and Aaron, when Miriam was disrespecting Moses, Most High got mad. He cursed her with leprosy. Right? He took her pigment away. He took her, her color away, for lack of a better word. Right? And Aaron said he looked upon her. She was white as snow. And that's the fit description to show you who the wicked are. That's why Esau, Edom, they have no melanin. You can see their blood so forth through their skin. So that Esau wasted away. Edom, mean red. Right?
God, so this just shows you how Esau came out first, right? Esau was their older brother. Right, verse 26 saying, after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, right? So this how I said in Mark the 10th chapter, how the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. That's literal, right? Because somebody got to second here, this is chapter 3. Because after the end of Esau age, right? Esau rulership, right? Esau, the man, right? Who comes? Jacob, the younger brother, right? So then Jacob is going to be first, and Esau is going to be last, right? Going back up to verse 23, the end of the verse, it said, the one people shall be stronger than the other people, right? Talking about Israel, talking about Jacob, it's saying the elder shall serve the younger, right? So you'll see how the roles are going to reverse, right? The roles are going to flip. Because right now we serving our older brother, but now our older brother Esau soon finna be serving us, as speaks about Revelation 13 chapter verse 10, and many more precepts. Thank you so much, Daniel, and so forth from
So this second is 6, and I started verse 8. It says, he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac.
sorry.
Con starts, all right, Con. This is 2 Ezra 6, verse 7. Starting at verse 7, it says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that follow? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hands held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow.
So just going back into Mark the 10th chapter, right? How the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Shall be first. So I get how that is showing you how Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows, right? And that's why Jacob held on to Esau's heel, because while he was trying to hold Esau back from coming out first. Why? Because the Most High made that covenant with Isaac, whichever the firstborn, and whichever the child that come out first, that's gonna be the child that get the birthright. Like Esau had got that birthright, but as we know, Esau had sold his birthright to Jacob, right? But it always meant to happen like that for a reason, right? That's why I said the older shall serve the younger.
Can I read this very fast? Just kind of in a point, kind of further in the point.
It's all in the sense.
But this is Genesis 3 and 15. Just talking, going into what the brother saying, when he's going that enemy that held on to his head, that started, like you said, that evil spirit, which is on that melanin man. Later went on to Cain. Later went on to came back to Esau, right? But you understand, Cain and Abel, right? The same spirit. So Esau, that's where it all started, right? But this Genesis 3:15 said, I will put an enemy between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, right? It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Once again, they bruise our head because we're above them, but right now we sit in low places, right? That's why we're going through this suffering, this pain that we talk about. Bruise their heel because the time to come is all prophecy, they're going to be brought down from the position they're in. We're going to be put back in righteous position, right? Pointing back to
You have brought up a point. You just said it was always basically just all set up that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it was all supposed to be. It was supposed to come out first. It was supposed to come out last because the way the prophecies was all set up. But Paul was going into that with Romans 9, starting at verse. I started at verse 6. It says, Not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of promise, at this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to the election might stand, not reverse, but of him that called us, and that's going into what the brother was just talking about, how this has all been set up from the beginning. Some people say, well, how can they do this? If Esau ain't never did nothing, which we understand through the spirit he has, because that serpent that was in the garden was, that serpent that deceived Eve and Adam. You know what I'm saying? That was the spirit of Esau, Edom, right? But in a simple sense, right? Like I said, he hasn't done any good or evil. Those children being not yet born, but it's because of the election. It's because everything was already ordained to be. And to continue on, verse 12, it says, It was said unto her, The elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. So it's all been set up. It's already been laid out. This is the way it was supposed to be.
in that same chapter, I'm gonna jump down to back to the point. I'm gonna jump down to verse 19. Right, it says, "Thou wilt say then to me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will?" As he's saying, if I'm created this way, if I'm set this way, how you gonna say I'm wrong? Because Yahweh Shai outside, he know everything. He know all the spirit. It's the same with Yahweh Shai came. He knew who the spirits were. He knew who believed in him. Yahweh Shai outside, he's the creator of everything. He controls this, but he controls it all. So he know who. That's why the elect are ordained, because he know those ones who are with him. He know the ones who are against him. He know it's in their nature. They're wicked. Their vine, their lineage are wicked, man. But they've been wicked, so they was created that way. That's why the Most High put them in the position they're in, because the devil. You know, he gonna do what the devil do, right? And as you see today, you know, he doing exactly what the Most High said him to do. He doing exactly what the Most High knew he would do, right? But that was just why read verse 20 says, Nay, but oh man, who art thou that replies against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me this? Right? So you can't question Yahweh Shah. He knew exactly what you got going on. You got a lot of people who question. You know, if I'm made like this, why you gonna find me fault or not? Right? But it says, has not the powder power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. Right? It was already ordained. You know, Yahweh Shah got the power to do that. Who can go against that? Nobody can. Right? But
Appreciate it. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9, straight to the point. And it reads, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun, right? So you have to know and understand that everything is already preordained to the way it's supposed to be, right? Nothing is a coincidence. That people say, right? Everything that happened is meant to happen in that way, in that order, right? But I forgot the precept I wanted to, but y'all still hold on the precept that I Alright, guys. So this is going back to the title at hand, right? We shall soon stop. The suffering shall soon stop, right? And not only we the ones suffering, but this whole earth is suffering as well, right? You know, even through the trees, right? You know, the animals, right? The insects, and everything is suffering because why? The wicked is in rulership, right? But I forgot the precept, but like when the righteous in rulership or something like that, rejoice. You kind of know what I'm talking about. While the brother getting that, can somebody grab Isaiah 24:4 and get someone grab Isaiah 14:8. Isaiah 24. Yeah, if you're not going to ship it, verse 8.
yeah, two people that read this time. This is Proverbs 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn.
That's the fish I was looking for this whole entire time.
This is Proverbs 29, and verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn.
And that's why everybody is in mischief. Brother talking about snap. You know, people talking about they going. What the woman says? She gonna start eating people and shit like that. Yeah, it's like Esau. You know, people just get going crazy and things of that such, and you know, people is miserable, right? That's why you know, people got attitudes and disrespectful and things of that such. Because why? Esau, Edom is in rulership, right? So everybody in this negative energy, this low state, this low vibration, right? But when the righteous get in rulership, right, and the world is set in order, because right now this earth is in disorder, right, through Esau Edom, right, for the thing that he did. I forgot that piece of that. What I'm talking about? It's like, yeah, out of course, kind of.
I got a little piece of Proverbs 2. It's like the same. This Proverbs 29 and 16. It says, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressor increases, but the righteous shall see their fall. And as the brother saying, you know, the wicked in rulership, you know, they don't come all the way back into power, like when the Greeks came to power, Edomites, you know, and them coming into power, you know, ain't nothing but transgressing the wickedness going all out. And you see how wicked and wild and how Jake even getting out, because, you know, the righteous are, the wicked are in rulership. You know, the priest of Sirach, you know, what manner the ruler is, also the manner the people is, right? So the ruler is wicked, so therefore ain't nothing but pure wickedness here. This is Psalm 82, verse 5. This Psalm 82 and verse 5, right? It says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness, all the foundations of the earth are out of course.
The world is out of course, because when we go to Isaiah 6:26, it said that they gross darkness to people, right? So this whole earth is, you know, is wide and wicked is because who is ruling this earth? Esau, Edom, right? The wicked, Job 9 and 24. Right, so it's only going to continue to be out of course until Yahweh returns back and bring the earth back in its course, right, in its right state. Right, so whoever got that, those in Isaiah, y'all can bring those out real quick.
Isaiah 24:4. Or
Yeah, before we start.
I started. It says the land is utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for the Lord has spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
You can read on down to 6.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
So it's like, you know, man, they're not, you know, fucking with it. Every little and every single thing on this earth, right? Even to the trees, right? That's why it's hard to breathe now, right? Because trees give off what? Oxygen, right? So when you continue to cut down all these down trees and things of that such, that's why it's harder to fucking breathe. You already done defiled every damn thing, so now it's even harder for us to breathe, right? And that's why I think it's Brazil. It's called damn, I forgot. Where the rainforest at? It's in Brazil, right? Yeah, it is. But now, but anyway, I forgot. But when you go to Google, you type in what is deforestation. It says deforestation is the large-scale clearing or removal of all forests for other uses, such as agriculture, logging, mining, and urbanization. You know, this urbanization. Said this process is a major driver of climate change because the forest acts as crucial carbon sinks and clear then release and store carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Right, I'm just stop right there. I said it also leads to habitat loss for countless plant and animal species, disrupt ecosystems, and can cause soil erosion. Right, and Esau Edom, you know, they'll cut down a whole fucking tree just to make a damn pocket knife. Right, just to make a damn small ass table. Right, the damn where no man that cut down the whole tree just to make something so damn small. And little do they know that shit for the ecosystem, the animal habitations, and etc. Right. So that's something they know that.
I said not even literally, they know they do know, they just don't care.
And that's the same thing with like growing crops and things like that. Yeah, the land sabbath and things like that. They done fucked up everything. That's why I spoke of. It says in verse 5, it said the earth is also is defiled. Isaiah 24:5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Right. So it's a lot of covenants and laws and Sabbaths out here that you're supposed to keep. Right, when it's come to farming and things, they said Esau, you don't give a fuck about none of that. They farm year round, literally, sun up to sun down. Right, you're supposed to, farm here. 6 years after that, you're supposed to kind of let them then you're supposed to move somewhere else. And why this land getting back rejuvenated or whatever you want to call it.
That's why, like, we taking the words of like everything. The Most High said the earth got his own course. It's saying he got his. The Most High said it that way, but like you're saying, Esau ruining everything up.
That's just the thing, man. Everything that the Lord said to be done, right? The law, statutes, and commandments was for good. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that he has commanded us to do will hurt anything, really. Meaning everything's gonna be. Say all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. So all these things work. You know what I'm saying? For the good of the people of Israel. You know what I'm saying? All these things work together. You know what I'm saying? For the good of the earth and so on and so forth. Right? Like you just said. Like even with the dietary law, you're not supposed to eat certain things. Why? Because these animals are made for specific reasons, and that's to clean the earth. Why would you eat things that are supposed to clean the earth? You know, so it's just, again, he set ordinances. These things are clean, these things are unclean. You can't change that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. There's scriptures that say that. You know what I'm saying? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? You can't. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way he set it up to be. But he saw Edom being, you know what I'm saying? Having that godlike complex, they're wanting to be like the Most High. They want to create what they want to create. They want to change things and make it happen however they want to do it, right? Just like that scripture Isaiah 24 is going into.
flowers to the trees. Every single thing has a meaning, but Esau Edom and interrupted the whole course of the earth, so now everything is disrupted, right? And y'all see he had that other Isaiah, he bring that out.
Remember, when you on the 8, let's go to that window. It's good with you. Break it down. Real quick, I was listening to something on Instagram I seen. It was, they was doing to what they heard Bill Gates had said. And basically, like Brother Gabriel had said, Esau got this God complex. And Bill Gates basically was saying how he wants to change the way everything is. Like the way the birds eat, the way the fishes swim, the way he want to change the everyday life, the way you get up and go to work, I didn't go to the mark, but like you said, he want to turn everything that Most High had said for righteousness, and he want to turn it to his liking.
Even to that point, you ask people like we always hear about these little inspirational stories, and people talk about their goals in life. They always talk about they want to change the world. You know what I'm saying? They want to change the world. The world was already laid out how it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's really there's nothing that needed to be changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything was already made perfect. But like you said, they wanted to change everything. They wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? That notoriety. They want to be on top. You know what I'm saying? They want to be the kings of earth, so on and so forth.
Before you read that, Isaiah 14, I was going to go to precept that so we can go down to verse 17. I will read this real fast because it's going to the point and break up. So even the point, maybe you were like, I hate the brothers up, you know what I mean, to think of, because I've been telling the brothers, I was saying earlier, about the Revelation 20 breakdown. But you understand when Esau was under that, those chains, which were Jacob and Rooster over them, I'm going to read the precept real fast. It says, Revelation 20, verse 2, it says, he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That just names of, the wicked Esau, but they was bound 1,000 years, they restricted, right? And now, the second 1,000 years, where that restrictions up from the Renaissance until the end coming. But right now, right, we're at that point, right, where Revelation 27 says, when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out and deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, right? Gog is Russia and Magog is the land, set to gather them together to the battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea, as the sand of the sea, right? But the point is that, you got that first 1,000 years where, Esau fell, right? Esau fell, Jacob ruled, then you got that, the Renaissance happened. Now you got that second 1,000 years to where Esau's in rulership now to the kingdom of Yahweh shall come until they fall again, which is the point of, that suffering shall end, right? But Isaiah 14 is going to show you how, they got that mindset they want to be like the Most High because they was bound for those 1,000 years. When they was let loose, first thing they did was went out and deceive everybody, trying to make it seem like they were the gods, make it seem like they change the pictures of change everything. So this is what we're going into, right? And as the brothers have said, they still trying to change all those things. And Isaiah 14, we're going to go into.
Let me get your the hot spot me.
Let's see this one.
Hey. How long ago you just stopped?
I can't say that because it's done. I want to say it was long.
The average of, it don't need to say. You said what?
I was telling them this like.
Oh yeah, however long his kids been going. Yeah.
Yeah, we should be good. My hotspot's still on.
I don't think he ever connected to this.
Yeah, I was connected to the house.
Oh yeah, my hotspot on.
You can tell what you was
What's your hotspot?
yeah. But as I was saying though, those so the first period of that 1,000, once the time period was fulfilled, by the family, that's what I'm sorry. Right, so you got that, once again, that first 1,000 years, Esau fell, right? Esau fell to the time of the Renaissance until they came back into power. Now we're in that second 1,000 to where Esau is, they came back to power through the Renaissance, and then the kingdom of Yahweh Shah, which is to come, right? The nations are going to fall, right? And you see how, as we brought out precepts, at the wicked and rulership, the earth mourned because it came to a point to where Esau, Edom was rebellion. They was just forcing his way onto everybody, right? And it came to a point where people just gave in to it, but not the elect though. That's those Matthew 24 and 24, those false prophets, the false Christ that come, they come with those signs and wonders. If it were possible, they'd be able to deceive the very elect, but they can't deceive the elect. Those are the 144,000 of sincere men of Yahweh who've been ordained, right? But you have Esau, Edom, they're out here deceiving the whole world, changing the courses of the whole world, is putting the earth in suffering. Not even just the people, as the brother brought out. As we're gonna see, the trees, the land, the animals. So think about, when they got these plants and whatnot, and they go pour this oil into the oceans and whatnot. They get fined. They make millions of dollars off of it and get charged a 100K fine. That 100K ain't nothing. That's like having $100. That's somebody asking for $1. You can give that to them 100 times. But
they just got the earth miserable, right? You're working 5-6 days a week, right? Out of 7 damn days, right? Etc. You just miserable, right? You living paycheck to paycheck, all type of shit, right? Especially for Israel, anyways, right? So soon all this shit end, though, man. Soon all of it end. They go to the new heavens and things of that stuff, right? That speaks of the Revelation, 2 Peter, and etc.
Another quick point is what you just talking about. Talks about it in Haggai. I want to say it's chapter 1, right? Where it talks about you reap a lot, but you sow little because you work for so long. By the time somebody retired, they barely can't even do anything. They've been retired at 60. He lived 5 more years. He done gave up the spirit. He up out of here, right?
They made the retire at 65, but once I got the average lifespan is 70, right? So it's like you work your whole damn life.
You work your whole life. That's and when you understand that's we what is that? Eden. I want to say it's Eden, means the pleasure of men. Eden. That's me. No, I think it's Eden because we will understand the earth was made for the pleasure of men, right? And Adam went off whatnot, but it's suffering.
Eden mean paradise.
Paradise, right? Paradise. No, but it's supposed to be man's paradise. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be our place. But we went off as such. And the wicked came to rulership. Now we going through this hardship, going through this suffering. But soon the suffering will end. We can go through verse 1 through 6.
Hey, quick, man. I always just prove that Esau was a child, like the scripture says. Paraphrasing, Iraq, and I think also like Jeremiah. But because when you watch Esau, you picture a child, like a child do foolish things like that. Like you said, fuck up the sea, just fuck up the world. Like if you just pay attention to a child to do. If you let a child do anything, he eat out the toilet. You know what I'm saying? These are things that Esau has done, right? But this is the book of Isaiah 14, verse 1. And it reads, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob."
So who are those strangers that are referring to?
Shit, the outcasts of Israel, like
So those are the Israelite foreigners that it speaks about, the strangers, right? And people, some Israelite camps, they break that down. They say the strangers are the other nations. No, those strangers are the Israelites, the foreign Israelites, right? But like I said, it set them in their own land. So that just shows you right there how after Yahweh shot, destroy America and Israel, then Israel's going to be rebuilt back up, right? Because we're going to be set back into our own land. And that is a future prophecy, right? So you can continue on.
Isaiah 14, verse 2. "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
And you can see why people would think that those things I was talking about the other nations, how verse 2 came into, but that's why the Most High speaks in parables, mysteries, and breakdowns of things that they said, because everybody not meant to understand these things, right? Because it's saying, and the people shall take them, who is them? The heathens, right? The other nations, right? He said, bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. So let's show you right there, that's another future prophecy that we're going to have servants and handmaids known as slaves in the kingdom of heaven, right? They say, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. When we under captivity under all the nations? God, so now the roles finna fucking reverse. The roles finna flip, right? They say, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So now we're gonna be the ones that rule the ship. Going back to Mark the 10th chapter. Now the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. So now we're going to be the head. Now we're going to be the first, and now we're gonna be in command, right? Brothers ain't got nothing on there, you can continue on your shit.
Verse 3. It shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from the fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou were made to serve.
So let's just go back to the title at hand, right? Soon the suffering shall end, right? Because what it says, it's saying, and it shall come to pass in that day, the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. So we want to be rest from our sorrow. We won't be sorrowful no more, right? It's saying from the fear, we won't have to fear no more, right? It's saying from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, right? So we was made to serve these hard bondage, right? But it was for a reason, right? We were made to go through these trials, tribulations, the afflictions, the chastisement. We were made to go through these things for a reason, right? Like it speaks of in 2 Ezra the 7th chapter, right? You gotta go through that. You gotta go through that you know, basically the hell just to inherit that that good that's soon to come, right? And like you said, it's talks about that's Israel's portion, right? It's roughly that ain't how the scripture go, but I know.
I got a quick precept, how it said, from that hard bondage where that was made to serve, from us going off, from us going against Habashiach, right? We put us in this captivity, but Esau went overboard with the captivity, right? Esau went, this precept, I was trying to find it really fast, but it talks about, I give them to the hand, of the enemy, but they showed them no mercy, because Esau ain't showed no mercy at all. They still don't show no mercy, right? This Zechariah 1, verse 15 says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, right? It says, for I was little displeased, and they helped for the affliction. Now, yeah, the Most High sent us to captivity, but Esau went overboard. Look what they was doing to our people, man. The picture I always think about every time I think of slavery is we were in school, they had the guy tied his hands and his feet tied up together, and they had him sitting over a fire, man. Like,
What you just read?
Zechariah 1:15.
This is a precept, Amos 1 and 11. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever, man. So like you just said, they took it overboard. They went too far.
And then another point also in Amos when it talks about, the Africans, Addison, captivity as well.
It's talking about everybody.
It's talking about everybody, But in Psalm 83, it names our enemies, mainly the top was Esau, Edom, right? But it names our enemies, man. So all these nations are going to, we're going to rule them with an iron, man. We're going to rule them right of iron, kind of. We're going to be on the head. You can continue reading on that. Isaiah 14. Verse 4.
Verse 4 and reads, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
The scepter just something like what kings have. Right? When you understand it though, the president is really just a puppet. Really going into those illuminated ones, man. Those ones behind the scene. The president, he's just under here puppet. Later on, it's gonna get it.
Verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with the continual stroke, He that ruled the nation in anger is persecuted and none hindered. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us.
That's just a quick precept to Isaiah the 24th chapter, right? I just speak something about the trees rejoice and things that it says, right? The trees want to rejoice. Let's right back into our homeland. That's right. The earth is being back in its course, right? Ran by the righteousness, right? So everything and any and everything is going to rejoice, and everything is going to, be different, right? Because now everything is miserable. Everything's going to be at a very high vibration, right? I think you even say like how the trees, you usually hear the trees breathe or something like that, roughly. Paraphrase.
I got research too. Just going into the earth, man. This is 2 Ezra 4:10-16. It says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Man, why is this? Because at Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. So when it's given back into the hands of the righteous, right? When it's given back into the people of Israel, the earth is going to be replenished. It's going to be overjoyed. Once again.
Quick piece of Romans 8:19, it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of power. Right? That's what everybody waiting on, Back then we was known as the sons of power, we ain't know no wrong, right? But we're gonna get back to the ain't gonna be no more sin in us. Right? So we're gonna rule the earth righteously, and that's what the people waiting on, for the righteous to come into rulership. Continue reading now. Read down to verse 17.
I'm going to say read down to 20.
20.
Shit, read the whole thing.
Verse 9, we read, hail from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. Verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?
I was about to say, so I want to say it's in Daniel chapter 2 where it said the Most High raise up king and he bring down king. So it's like all these other nations, all these other rulers who had their time, which were brought down. And looking at Esau, like, oh, now you brought down now, like now it's coming on to you. Because Esau mindset was Psalms 49:11, right? They want this place to last forever. They think can't nobody mess with. They think nobody can't knock them out of rulership. They don't, they say what they say. I see the queen, I see no sorrow. Is a paraphrase. But they don't think nothing will happen to them. Right? I think.
Everyone thought that I was just 17.
I think the precept, I think one of the brothers brought it out at the last count, it talks about how Esau, they do so much, they think the Most High on their side. They think the Most High is rocking with them just because ain't no judgment being brought upon them yet. So they think the things that they're doing are righteous works. But they doing the works, they doing what I said them to do, but on the left hand side. Right.
And I was just finna say, just back you up, right? Because Esau so damn powerful, they feel like they got the best of everything, right? The best planes, right? Jets, technology, and bombs, right? Weapons, etc., right? But now all the other nations got the exact same thing. Now they like, you feel me? Say, art thou also become weak as we, and art thou become like it to us? Because these other nations, they were coming to America to get all these weapons and missiles. Why you think Ukraine's still begging Trump to get the missiles to shoot over there to Russia, right? But etc. But now that these other nations got the same thing that America got, now America is at that lowest thing. But now all these other nations, these countries, they saying that America is falling, right?
Real quick, that's exactly what it is. It's like, because Trump, he boasts. I don't know if y'all pay attention, but lately he been boasting about that, testing the nukes or whatever. And he loved to go and say, well, we so advanced right now, but in 5 years, China have the same, arm race as we got. But he gonna be putting shame in that day because those nukes it's not gonna stand a chance. The nukes that China got, Russia got, it's not gonna stand a chance against the chariots of the Lord, man.
son just left my mind, man. It's kind of funny what y'all saying.
So you got some.
And it was something that it just left my mind. It just left my mind as I was going to say. But you can see, Lord, let's come back to that.
Because you gotta think about it, man. Even going to that, like, why was King David so? Why was he so famous? He slept alive, right? Because he had, he had that power, that strength that the Most High gave him. So Esau, the Most High not dealing with him on the right hand and on the left hand. Esau, and that's why this age, this era is so advanced because you have ICBM missiles, you have nuclear power. Like these people are able to destroy the world, right? They have the power to destroy everybody, right? You gotta think, who else only has that power?
But it came to Jeremiah 51. It talks about how America ain't got no. You can't heal Babylon. Babylon is done. You can't ain't no healing. Now he's saying, Trump want to try to make America be more boastful and proud. These other nations are looking at like you're weak now. You ain't who you think you are. Eventually, how about y'all try to bring that pride down? Pride comes before the fall.
You said Jeremiah the 51 chapter. You go into verse 1, it talks about a destroying wind, right? The destroying wind is from the nukes. Our brothers talk about the nukes, the ICBM missiles, right? The radioactive, all that shit, right? I forgot the word. Fuck. What's it called? Out of time. But it's things that all goes into that to make it this something wrong. But potassium, Pertanium, some shit like that, like some shit that they use for all that shit. But you got it.
You can go read that verse.
It says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave."
Quick point right there. All that we just said about that pride, that's what that pomp is. That boastfulness. Right? Most High's gonna bring that right on down. Most High gonna minimize. He needs to minimize. He gonna show them exactly who they are. The basis of men. Daniel 4:17, low. He goes to that word basis and show you low. Like they ain't nothing, right? They ain't who they think they are. They ain't that.
I was just been saying the speech about it in the book of Obadiah, right? All throughout the whole book.
It says, "And the noise of thy bowels, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee."
And that's just the decay of this system, right? This place is dying. This place is going downhill. Ain't nothing they can do, as we saying Jeremiah 51, ain't nothing they can do to heal this place. This place is dying, this place is decaying. And that precept we read earlier, Proverbs 29:16, they talk about the wicked transgression. He said the righteous see their fall. We're looking at this place fall. Like these things that are happening, these are the signs that Yahweh Shah, told the Spirit brings to the elect, the spirit of prophecy, right? They give us the faith and the faith booster and it shows us that this place is coming down. It's coming down faster than we think, right? With these people going in chaos right now, with all this, things going on, we looking at it and seeing like they just try their best they try the fastest way to push that chip. They try to fight. They want to get everybody's head going off, make everybody crazy, so they feel like they can't do nothing unless I get that chip. We peep the devil device. We see these things. These are things we see this place go down here because we know when that chip come out, we know, hey, we get closer and closer to how about you? How shall we close to the kingdom, man?
Especially when World War III pop off, because that Yahweh will come back during the midst of World War III, because during the midst of them fighting, when Yahweh return back, that's when they go stop fighting. You said they go turn to Yahweh the angels, and they go start fighting Yahweh the angels, which speaks of Revelation 17th chapter and chapter 19.
It's hard to take them an hour to get all that shit.
Yeah, all that shit.
Right? 13 as well. It talks about how they gonna turn and fight outside. And they also talk about how they gonna be scared, but the Most High gonna put the spirit on them to fight. They ain't gonna be ducking.
But think about it, ain't no time. Some of our lessons just be hours. Ain't no time not even to stream on this shit.
But like slaying the many.
We be doing a lesson.
I'm finna say something too. Oh yeah, that's why they trying to rush and do all these things, because they trying to prevent prophecy, right? They trying to, cause they feel like as soon as the quicker they can get their new world order out, they'll prolong their kingdom or whatever the case may be, because they gonna be in absolute control, right? But they're just trying to stop prophecy. That's why Trump keep trying to push this peace and shit. Because Trump knows us World War III started, it's a whole way. You feel me? So that's why. But
says, "Out are the fallen from heaven, O Lucifer."
As I was mentioning earlier, those illuminated ones, those behind the Illuminati, the ones behind the scene, the Rockefeller, Rothschild, Oppenheimer, those rich Bill Gates, those type of people. Those people behind the scenes, they're the ones who really, call the shots in this place. Those rich people who got rich off our backs, from the slavery, from the hardship, ruling nation ruling people with a high iron, smoking people with rap. That's what they've been doing to us for so long.
And even just continue to bounce off that point, like you said, Lucifer is that light bearer. But if you go into the definition, it clearly tells you, what it says, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, and it says of the king of Babylon and Satan figuratively. So it was talking about the king of Babylon at that time, which is very clearly the Edomite. It's talking about Esau and Edom. But people try to change that, but no, it's talking about it's talking about Esau and Edom. It's talking about the king of Babylon. Just to preach up on that, it's 2 Thessalonians 2:8. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." And who is that? It's Esau. Those powers and signs, lying wonders like we just talked about. Those ICBM missiles. You got the atomic bombs. You got these viruses that be going around. Technology and such. Diseases that all these different types of things. These are signs of lying wonders. Who's coming is after the working of Satan. So they're being like that spiritual people. Continue.
Stopping at the top. "How are the fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?"
And even that point with how fallen is just talking about just from a high position. That they just being the king of Babylon and falling from the highest state.
And that right there, that's showing you how far out the elite is knowing. The elite, of course, we know prophecy, but the elite, they tracking prophecy. That they able to track. That's when they able to keep up with the Lord. They able to watch the Lord when He come in. And they able to escape the nukes. But for the most part, like they say what? Oh, yeah, bonkers, yeah. So you gotta understand, man. And we talk about it a lot, but the elites do way more than you can pull up on Google, or you can, whatever, man. The elites know exactly what's going on.
If you just think about what is the word apocrypha mean? It's secret, secret. So if they hid the words of the Lord, you think there's not a lot more knowledge that they know that's being hidden?
And you gotta, not to harp on it too much, what we mentioned before. Of course, Satan is their God, but behind the scenes, they know the name Yahweh. They know Hashem Yahweh Shai. They know the Father. They know the Son.
It's a book. The elders is going to a lesson. The Apostle Harvey doing a response letters to it. It's a book. Dude said, the brother said he got it for like $30, but now the book like $500 something. The book costs only money now because they don't want nobody to get the knowledge that's in the book. So they trying their best to keep it out. And this is this type of book like you ain't gonna see it on no ass, no bookshelf. Like it's something you gonna have to go find behind the scenes type thing.
And even folly sins, you know what I'm saying? But they say if you don't want to need it or know something, read the book.
Right. Niggas go out find another book.
You feel me?
Just back out about Esau Edom, right? They know the times, the policies, the things of that sense, right? And of course these elites, they know what's going on, but I'm going to go into this Revelation, the 6th chapter. I started verse 12 because not only is they going to try to get in the bunker, but it's also going to be someone that's trying to go up in space and things of that sense. They're going to go right into not Esau, angels and Yahweh, right? But this is the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 12. Then I beheld when he opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. What called that great earthquake? They say, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became of blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth. What are those stars that fell into the stars of heaven that fell into the earth? I see me mention those nukes. Right? He said, even as a fig tree casting forth on untimely figs, we see a shaking of a mighty wind, right? And as those nukes drop, it caused that mighty wind, right? that heat wave, that radioactive wave, right? All that, and that's why a lot of people that survived that nuke or that explosion, majority of them died from the aftermath from the radioactive that's still floating around in the air.
Like when you know in history, when we learn like from like fifth grade, we learned this about World War II. You know, when they dropped a bomb and they was showing the video like people's shadows was corpse, people's skin was melting off their body, they were screaming because their skin became falling off. And that's just like in the aftermath of that weird that explosion.
That shit coming at a high speed, right? You feel me? We can't even duck or dodge it, right? That's how fast. You keep see the video when the building explode, right? And I don't know if y'all seen how the man was on a jet ski in the ocean and the building had exploded. You can see the heat wave coming his way, and it hit. You can hear. He had jumped into the water, but you can still hear from under the water. You can see this shit. That shit crazy. But
That's why we gotta feel it. Oh, we gotta feel it.
but you ain't trying to feel that shit. Hell no. You ain't trying
Wait,
to
no,
feel that
actually, you
shit.
ain't feeling it.
Yeah, kind. But you know, but I can say we shall be delivered between the 6 and the 7 seals. So you know, this is the book of Revelation chapter 6 and verse 14. It said, "And the heaven departed as its robe." You'll grab that Isaiah 34 chapter verse 4. So it said, "And the heaven departed as its robe, and it is rolled together, and every mountain and island removed out of their places." So you know, when the heaven departed as its robe, that's when Yahweh angels coming back, right? It's gonna be that full out invasion, right? That speaks of in Zechariah the 5th chapter, verse 3, that curse that goes upon the face of the earth. But when Yahweh angels come back, they can cover the face of the sky, right? And it's gonna be a curse to Esau, Edom, and the other nations. Because why these angels, these chariots, they come back to destroy and to kill, right? Not to make peace, right? So continue on. Or you got it.
This is Isaiah 34 and verse 4. Right? It says, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. All their hosts shall fall down, and as the leaf falleth from the tree, as a leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. And my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come."
Let me get the brother's picture.
And we go to also World War II history, you know, research on that type bomb, and you see it make that scroll, like that mushroom type cloud with the head, like boom.
So you're start from the top.
This Isaiah 34, verse 4, it says, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved." That's like Esau military, they want to go flying
Even
like
to the alpha say satellites, the space shuttles, they space trash, all that right going to be dissolved.
He says, "And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree."
You know, I said that. What it says? The heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So it's Hosea 12 and 10, right? It said, "I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similar tools by the ministry of the prophets," right? So you know that the Most High gave them that vision, right? But during these visions, the prophet, they had to use similar tools, right? So they had to describe it the best way they could. So that's why he compared it to a scroll, because you know a scroll when it unravels, or when it ravels together, look like the mushroom cloud, right? So that's what the prophet Isaiah was seeing, right? So you finish off verse 5 from 1 to 11.
And I'm not mistaken, this Isaiah 34, this was like Isaiah seeing the aftermath of Armageddon. He's seeing the aftermath. Oh, that's why he's talking about how America smoke go up, Babylon smoke go up forever and ever. How this place is gonna be done after this, gonna be annihilated. But this is verse 5. It says, "When my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, he shall come upon Adumia," right? Which is the Greek way to say Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
You know, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. So like this is the Lord will bring destruction upon Esau and their military, right? Which are going to be up in the heavens. Like we just spoke of, you know, because they're going to be flying in the heavens with their fighter jets, you know, planes, and you know, etc. And the Lord going to take them out, right? And you grab Luke 10:18.
That's the book of Luke, chapter 10, and verse 18. And the reader says, "And he said unto them," see how Shah talking, "I beheld Satan lightning fall from heaven.
That's it, right? Kind, meaning he saw the destruction. He came back and took Esau and the nations out of rulership and destroyed their military, starting with their fighter jets, right? And we're at that point now where we're about to see, that happening, through the signs, right?
Quick point in that, and also you gotta know, was it Isaac the one who gave Esau, that blessing? That's Yahushua Isaac, it's the same spirit. So that same one gave him that blessing, he's gonna come take it from him. I had a quick precept on real fast, who's going into how these elites, they know things that we don't know, they try their best to hide a lot of things. Also with Isaiah 29:15 talks about it, also in Psalms, I can't think what chapter it said 64, they talk about that too, how you bring a seeking counsel. Right, it's the illuminating ones behind the scenes, they know a lot of things, but they try their best to keep behind the scenes. But this Luke 12 in verse 2, it says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear and closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops." So everything is going to be exposed to you. Everybody, even your house shot when he come, those elites that in those bunkers, they over there, they over there, they under here right here. Everything gonna be exposed. You can't hide nothing. Pray how much he outside. He control all this. Everything they think they gonna do, the Most High even allow them to do it.
Alright, and I'm finna finish this off in Revelation the 6th chapter, finna go right into what you were just saying. So this Revelation 6 and 14 saying the heaven departed as a scroll, and it is rolled together. Every mountain and island removed out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountain, right? So they're gonna try to go into them bunkers, right? Those chambers, right? And things of that such. And they're gonna try to hide themselves from the face of Yahweh.
Y'all remember, I told you I had missed it before, but y'all remember that show that had just dropped recently, everybody was watching, when the president had died. Dang, I be forgetting the name of it every time we count, but basically in the show, they building a whole new city in the mountain. They hiding it, they building a whole, cause they know the end of this world finna come. I can't think of it. I think of the show name, I said, but it's a new show recently just dropped, where it's kind of showing how the elites, because when the president died, only the elites meet, only the rich elites meet, and they trying to keep them so they can be the ones who, basically like replenish the next world they're gonna try to keep.
Populate the earth. So I'm gonna finish off Revelation 6 and 16. And he said to the mountains, and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. We know that Lamb is who? God. So verse 17 said, "For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" Right? And Esau, even these leaders, are gonna be trying to stand, and they not, right? They're gonna be trying to hide from Yahweh and the angels, but they ain't gonna be able to. They're gonna be taken captive, right? And there's gonna be, the start of our captive, our handmaids and servants.
But the show is called Paradise. I haven't heard about it, watched it, but it's called Paradise, where they basically take the elites and they building a whole new city in under this mountain. They hide it in the mountain. Like, nobody really know about it but the elites, because they know the world finna come to an end. They trying to basically keep them to once again repopulate the new world they want to come.
Finish off Isaiah 14 chapter. I got a quick piece of that.
We'll close that up with Isaiah. Verse 12, and it reads, "For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High."
And a quick point, so when I brought that Revelation 20 earlier, when them seals was let off Esau, they went out and deceiving the whole world. They went out, tricking everybody. And so now, we get to that point, once again, we in that 1,000 years to where they come back into power, deceive everybody, but then also they're going to fall, there's going to be destruction coming, the kingdom is going to come, right? So those seals are going to be reversed, right? Because you see, as he said, right, I'm going to ascend above the cloud, I'll exalt my throne above the stars. The brother brought out earlier, the preacher quoted Psalms 49:11. This place we want this place to last forever. You know what I'm saying? We can't nothing come against us. right? But the Most High got this plan for him as he going to continue to read.
And that's talking about their pride, but also those satellites, right? The spaceships and things of that such as well. But how you just said that. But that's why he said in verse 12, how our daughter cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations, right? So that's what they did. They deceived the nations and weakened the nations, right? For them to continue to stay in rulership and stay in power.
That's what Esau do. Even now, look what he doing. He putting Jake back against the wall. So now he want to push his new world order, this ship, whatnot. Jake so weak. He feel like, I gotta take it. But that's why,
Chip right on, man.
But that's why Yahweh Shah Shah is our strength. The spirit Yahweh Shah Shah strengthen them and give us that strength, give us that that guidance of what we need to do. That's why once again, I say a lot. That's why understanding truly His gift is a faith. You see how bugged out and how lost and how weak Jake look. But His gift is a faith, man. When Esau know he can control you, he gonna control you, right? Even I watched the book of Eli. When I'm watching it, I'm trying to think like how is this movie spiritual? I'm trying to look at it. I see how it's spiritual. At the end, I realized like he wanted the book so he can control everybody. He wanted the Bible so he can trick everybody and deceive them. He wanted the Bible so he can control everybody. The whole time he can't even read the Bible. It's in prayer, he can't. He only Eli can understand it. As I watch them, like, how is it even spiritual? But seeing, that's what they do. They want to deceive everybody. They want to make everybody think they're God. Where and who is he? Job 9:24. Change the picture, change the images. Feel like they the Hebrew Israelites. Feel like they the Israelites. Feel like they the lineage of Jacob, whatnot. Feel like that's what they want to do. That's why they keep all these things in their possession. That's why they keep all the things hid. Talk about the book. They want to try to make this book so much money because they don't want nobody to get it. But understand, hey, that's why the mouth of the prophet, the mouth of the Lord right now is His prophet, those sincere 144,000. But you're going to expose him, right? As we're going to read, you're going to see what's going to happen to Esau,
Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did it shake kingdoms?
All these bombs, the wars, bombing cities, doing all these things. Is this him? The big bad dog? Is this him who? Ain't no way this him, man. Ain't no way he knocked down. He was just talking about how Trump. Just talking about how it's great. It's a great time right now to be dealing with America. The trade, all this and that. That costliness. That's that purple squad. That's on that dragon. That's on that beast. That's on that that serpent. Right? The costliness, the riches they give. That cause everybody to want to just accept the immortality that Esau gives. All that's gonna be brought down. All that's gonna be destroyed. It ain't gonna be no more way. Ain't gonna be no more of that. That's why the scripture tells us that we were not redeemed by corruptible things. All those corruptible things that Esau professed, how it's gonna be destroyed. We were redeemed by Yahweh Shah Shah. And we're gonna be immortal. Can't nothing stop us. Can't nothing come against us. As long as we got Yahweh Shah Shah on our side.
All right, quick read something. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. You reread that?
16.
Yeah.
Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did it shake kingdoms?
So you see how they started to reveal and see who that man is. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I started verse 3, and it reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that they shall not come and said they're coming falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, right? That word perdition goes into destruction, right? And that day is referring to the second coming of Yahweh Bashi Yahushua. Paul talking to them saying they can't come back. Oh God, Salah. But anyways, I would get to the point. He said that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Was that son of perdition? Esau Edom, right? Verse 4 said, who opposes him and exalts himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. So now Esau Edom, that man, that son of perdition, right? The wicked, he is starting to be revealed in his time, right? So, kind of
verse 17. It says that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof and opened not the houses of his prisoners.
You understand? I was just saying they bomb the cities, doing everything, and America got the #1 population, prison population as well. A lot of them is Jake. A lot of them is Jake. A lot of them in that. But understand, it's all the suffering and curses that was put upon us that we gotta face, right? But as you can see, they've been exposed where they are, and these roles are switching. We see it through the screen, showing you how, we just brought a piece about showing you how America gonna be destroyed, showing you how they're gonna be brought down, right? So as you can see, this suffering is gonna stop. It's gonna come to an end. It's gonna come to naught. We're gonna be put into the kingdom of Yahweh Shah. It's gonna, eat up all these kingdoms, right? It's gonna be nothing like these kingdoms. It's gonna be a kingdom of righteousness, right? Ain't gonna be, it ain't gonna be no more death, right? We're gonna be immortal. Our body's gonna be changed, right? The laws are written in the hearts and mind. Of course, we want to teach other nations, right? We're gonna be on them teaching them, but Hebrew Israelites, we ain't gonna have to teach one another. The scriptures tell us, right? We ain't gonna have to teach one another. You ain't gotta teach them or her. Like everybody gonna know it.
Right, everybody gonna be out about you.
Everybody gonna know that from the time they come back. Like I say, I shall see you. So that's when they gonna know. You know what I'm saying? Like when they like getting beamed up in those chairs, and they see the strangers of our salvation. Everybody gonna really know. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Like the scripture say, a prophet have truly been among us. You know what I'm saying? That's really when they gonna know. When they gonna know for real.
So I got a quick closing brief.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna read down to verse 20 real quick. So this Isaiah 14:18 say all the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, they go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Verse 20, the point said, thou shalt not be joined with them in world of real, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evil doers shall never be known.
They never gonna be no power again.
God, man, but who is the seed of no evil doers? Esau Edom, man. It'll never be back in authority, back in rulership, back in nothing that got to do with commanding or having dominion.
Right after 1,000 years, they're gonna be done away with.
Extinct. They still down wicked.
Other nations, let's talk about other nations. They'll get back to their lands or whatnot. They'll get a little bit more, quote unquote, say freedom, because they gonna understand the laws and commandments of Yahweh Shah. But Esau Edom, scripture tell you, Obadiah chapter 1, man, they ain't gonna be done away with, tied up. They gonna be stubble, and Hebrew Israelites, we that fire, man. They're gonna be done. They're gonna be done away with. But this is Romans 8, and I'll start at verse 17. Right, verse 17, 18, the closing prayer said, if children, then heirs of Yahweh, and joint heirs, my fault. If children, then heirs, and heirs of Yahweh, and joint heirs with Mashiach Yahushua. If so be that we suffer with him, we may also be glorified together. For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in them. So this glory is going to be revealed in us, showing you what? The suffering is going to come to an end, man. So you got to endure this suffering, endure this pain, because we heirs, right? We're set to receive the kingdom of Yahweh Shah. And it's really Yahweh Shah's kingdom, but he's sharing it with us. That's why we got to be, that's why he says we're joint heirs, right? So in order for us to receive that kingdom, right? Where Yahweh Shah goes, there's a precept we about to bring out earlier, 1 Thessalonians 4:3, These are the things that we were told we were going to face. Suffering, hardship, pain, and we got to endure that. We can be joint heirs to, receive the kingdom of Yahweh Shah.
Quick research. Hebrews 1, I get straight to the point. Verse 13 in the read, but to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. Right? And precept of that is Wisdom of Solomon 9, chapter 9, verse 16 and 17. Right? Y'all go read on your own, but verse 14 is the point. It says, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? Right? And we are the ones that's heirs of, we are the ones that shall receive, or it's like, I'm going to just start from the top. So like, But just going back to verse 13, right? 'Cause that's what I meant to say. So it said Hebrews 1:13 said, but to which of the angels said he at any time, the word angel goes to message, he say, sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. Right? And it all go back to Mark the 10th chapter. That's what's crazy. Right? But verse 14, he said, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? So those ministering spirits are those angels, right? The guardian angels and things that's us to minister, right? To minister, us, the ones that's the heirs of salvation, right? That's us, right? Because you got the angels and Yahweh outside that guide us down that right straight and narrow path, right? To make sure that we stay on course, right? They ministering us, making sure that we stay upon that right path, right?
All I say is, take not his strange, man. They go to spiritual point. When you're going through this suffering, going through this pain, take not his strange. You're supposed to go through it, but understand it, it's suffering. Gonna come to an end soon, we're gonna receive abundance, 100-fold. That's what we said, once again, go back 110.
And also, 1 to 6 as the 7th chapter.
Alright. That, once again, I pray this lesson is edifying. And until next time, I'd like to close out, giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostle, Elder Millstone,